Hello everyone, welcome to the War Show 2.0. My name is Ray, and I am back with another video with a recap of last weekend's Night of Champions. Apologies for the delay. I've been actually a little bit busy, but better late than never, as they say. So we'll start off as far as from last Memorial Day weekend's card. We'll go as far as cover WWE's Night of Champions. It was an awesome weekend of wrestling, that's for sure. It was a lot of great highlights as far as over the weekend overall. We'll start off as far as getting into the coverage of the matches overall, but I will start off as far as saying Night of Champions from WWE was very solid. You can make an argument it was probably the event of the weekend, but we'll start with the first match of the weekend, which I believe was the Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. Initially, me and D both were separate on this one. He picked Seth Rollins. I picked AJ. I gave my reasons why last week, but we'll start as far as first what I wanted to cover as far as Seth Rollins' outfit. I know D is going to laugh when he sees this, but just Seth's attire was just absolutely atrocious. It's just horrific to look at. When I saw it initially, it looked somewhat familiar. But first, my initial reaction was exactly this guy's reaction too. If I zoom into this dude, it's like, dude, come on. What the hell are you wearing? But still, D got a kick out of it. I thought it was atrocious, but I kind of at first thought like it looked somewhat familiar. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and then I realized I had to go back and someone said on Twitter. It was Ruby Rod from The Fifth Element. Great movie, by the way. Check it out if you've never seen it. But it's just horrible cosplay outfit overall. Still, that's essentially what he is now. That's my biggest as far as gripe with his outfit. But moving on, it was as far as I thought it was kind of weird that they start off with this match, which AJ and Seth. But that being said, AJ lost. I lost. Seth won. He is the new, as far as heavyweight champion. Picture with Triple H. Triple H initially created the new belt. This is the working man's belt, as far as stated, for the Monday Night Raw, heavyweight title. This is the third place title in my opinion. This is the You Can't Be Roman. We'll give you another belt, championship belt. But congrats to him. Can't wait to see him as far as a new outfit. Apparently, last Monday's outfit he had what looked like half of Aquaman's costume, but I'll let D try to defend that outfit he had. It was atrocious. Anyway, moving on. Anyways, congrats as far as to Seth, like I said. I think he probably is the best person to put on right now, but we shall see where they go with this. So, moving on to the next match. Next match, we had Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch. This match was okay. I didn't have much issue with it. It was... Some people said Trish looked sloppy. I don't think she actually did do that bad. There was maybe one botch in the corner, but, I mean, Becky kind of cleaned it up a little bit for her. Trish looked fine. I think she did great. As far as D, also both picked Trish Stratus for the upset. She did win, however. It was via interference due to Zoe Stark from NXT. So now they moved up Zoe Stark from the NXT roster over to the main roster. Pretty sure for now, Becky Lynch will likely, as far as feud with Zoe Stark for the time being, and we probably should expect as far as a rematch between Trish and Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. That's likely going to take place, but still, it was a decent match. But we kind of both expected that, me and D, that Trish went over. She did. We'll likely get the rematch in August. Moving on to the next match, we had this one with Gunter and Mustafa Ali. This match I expected it to be a squash match. Surprisingly, that's not what happened. Although the winner was not to anyone's surprise, it was Gunther. Me and D both picked Gunther to win. I thought it was gonna be a squash. It wasn't. Mustafa got a little bit as far as offense. He definitely got a lot of heat, that's for sure. He was mainly as far as pulverized by Gunther, but That Jeddah crowd was definitely behind Mustafa Ali. And that's another thing that I want to bring up. That crowd in Jeddah was very hot. I don't remember them being that enthusiastic as far as the crowd. It was more casuals in there, but they were very very as far as strong. They had definitely a presence there. I can definitely say they were a better crowd than the one at the Double or Nothing, but I'll bring that as an argument for the next video. But Gunther overall, as far as he did, as far as beat up on Ali, I mean, it was essentially a squash. But Mustafa Ali had a little bit as far as offense. It was a solid match. The crowd was, like I said, was behind as far as Mustafa Ali. Unfortunately, Ali did not pick up the win. And I think the crowd kind of died out a little bit after that. And I say that because the next match, and as I said, Gunther won. No surprise. That should have been as far as the pick. But I believe there was a consequence to this match. I think the crowd was heavily behind Mustafa Ali. They somewhat died on the next match because the next match they had was as far as it looks like I'm missing it. Was as far as Asuka and Bianca Belair. That was a very that was an interesting match because Asuka ended up winning. Me and D both had Bianca winning. We didn't expect Asuka to win, but that was a bit of a shocker. This should have been a much more surprising win. This should have had a better reaction than what it did, because Bianca was dominating the Raw Women's division for a while. Of course, Asuka did win due to it as far as I guess she kind of cheated. I guess you could say she just kind of outsmarted Bianca. She pretty much essentially the blue mist, where she has some sort of blinding chemical, I guess you can call it. She sprays that to her opponents and blinds them, and she kind of finishes them off. What she did here was clever, which was she sprayed the mist in her hand and waited for Bianca to put her in her finishing move, which is the kind of like Death Valley Driver. I can't remember what it's escaping her finishing move, but she did as far as spray the mist in her hands, spread that blinding mist on her fingertips to Bianca's eyes when she was over her shoulders, and Bianca was blinded, quote, and Asuka got her finishing kick in, and she won the title. She picked up the win, surprisingly. That was the one we got wrong, surprisingly, but not many people expected Bianca to lose. But congrats to Asuka. She was one of the few people actually, I mean, at the top of the list, you could say that she probably could have beat Bianca. As far as how long this is going to be, who knows? But I do, as I said, this should have been a bigger deal, but the crowd was, I think, recovering from the Ali match, and that was a consequence of that. So this was kind of a buffer match. And a buffer match is pretty much where the booker knows that one match will grab a lot or gather or eat up a lot of the energy from the crowd, and a buffer match is meant to reset the crowd to give them time to recover for a bigger match. This should not have been a buffer match, but still, it just didn't have enough heat. There just wasn't much to it. No one really thought that Asuka was going to beat Bianca Belair, but she did somehow, and I guess nobody's ready for Asuka now, so we'll see how long the reign lasts. I don't think it's going to last much longer. I do suspect, I mean, I don't know why, but I get a feeling that maybe Bianca may be turning heel. Because what else is there for her to do? Like, there's nothing else for her to do. Same thing with her other half, from the Street Profits. His name is escaping me right now. Montez, like, I think he should also turn. I would love for them to be a power couple in WWE. I feel like that's the next step for them. I would love to see Montez Ford. I'm a bit of a big fan of Montez Ford. Of course, D, I don't think he likes him as much because he doesn't like the crotch choppings, whatever. But anyway, I think it'll be fine as far as that. But still, moving on. That's for the discussion. Likely at SummerSlam, I think there will be a development, but we'll see what happens. Moving on. Next one is not going to be much of a surprise. It was Rhea Ripley versus Natalya. No one thought Natalya was going to win. No one thought she had a chance. Rhea Ripley was the heavy favorite. I think she was the second highest favorite overall in the card. And and that was a squash match. That was not even a minute. Rhea Ripley essentially just finished her off with fishing move and pinned her on her birthday. Natalia's birthday was a date of the Night of Champions, and happy birthday, Natalia. You get pinned and squashed in 1 minute. Although, granted, there was no way in hell Natalia was going to win this match. It's not time to take the belt off of Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is way too good to get stripped yet. It's going to take another opponent to beat her. Sadly, I think it maybe end up being Charlotte. But still, it's not time. Rhea should have a long run here as long as Bianca's Belair, but we'll see. Still, I don't think they're going to pull the belt off of her anytime soon. This Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley combination right now, with Dominic being one of the most hated heels right now. He has by far the most heat in all of wrestling. With Rhea Ripley involved, with them being like a kind of bit of a couple, I guess. Kayfabe, I guess. It's not time. These two need to be stuck together. The Judgment Day needs, as far as have a longer run. I believe Dominic, I don't want to go too far into this, but I believe Dominic may be involved in Money in the Bank. He definitely needs to get elevated. It's time to push this guy a little bit further up. They may be a power couple champion. We'll see. But Rhea Ripley won. That is as far as... I mean, there's nothing else to say. There's more they can get out of this, and I think more will take place during the summer. We shall see. I think Money in the Bank, we'll see more elevation from Dominic. Rhea Ripley's dominance should continue more, but we will move on. Next up, we have Cody versus Brock. Where do I start with this damn match? I love Cody. I love him to death. But this match was stupid. And I'll tell you why. I guess I'll start off as far as saying me and D both picked Brock Lesnar to win this match. And we both figured out because they were going to probably work on the angle with Cody and his bad arm or his fracture or his broken arm. Somehow the doctors cleared him to wrestle Brock Lesnar. Which is stupid. I don't know who would clear him, but they did. However, that's not my issue with the match. My issue was the stupid brace. Apparently, they cleared him with a sleeve that was made of titanium. This is not my words. This is WWE's words. The announce team said Cody was cleared and was put on a titanium sleeve, which he used as a weapon. What? This is absolutely ridiculous. So Cody used the sleeve, the one that you see pictured, to use as a weapon against Brock Lesnar. It worked for a while, but that made no damn sense. Like, I don't know how you can say he had a cast and treat it like a Lex Luger angle where he had like a titanium elbow, I guess, I don't know, or a steel elbow, and he used it as a weapon. Bro, the sleeve is meant to protect you from further injury in the arm, but he used it as a weapon. The Impact had no issues when he hurt his arm. Like, I guess, I don't know, would that cause further damage to the arm? I don't know. I mean, the guy did wrestle with a torn pec, and it looked horrible, but that made no freaking sense to me, and it was a stupid match. Brock did ultimately win this match, rightfully so. That was the correct call, because I suspected that this would, as far as conclude, the trilogy would conclude at SummerSlam, and that's what's going to happen. What happened here was Brock put him in the Kimura lock, which you saw earlier in the lock, and Cody was in so much pain, he passed out. Your winner by knockout? Brock Lesnar? It was stupid. It was dumb. But as I said, there likely will be a rematch. It looks like they're hinting at it already in SummerSlam in August. So who knows what's going to happen. Maybe we have a dog collar match. I don't know. Maybe a nightgown match. I don't know. Whatever stupid thing they can decide. Like, it doesn't matter. I think Cody would likely win in SummerSlam, and that should, as far as put it into the feud, but I don't know. This kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But it was good. I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought it was overall the match plan was good. The execution was bad. I just think that what ruined the match for me was Cody and his titanium sleeve. That was just stupid. But it was just not believable. But I digress. That's Brock won. I just hope they have a better layout for the next match. But that was whatever to me anyway. All right, moving on. So real quick before getting to the main event, which was Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Prior to the match, Roman did go over as far as 1,000 days. Well, actually, no, this was 1,000 days with him being the Universal Undisputed Heavyweight Champion with the two belts that you see on the picture. He held up the 1,000 days as his title reign. Now, Roman, rightfully so, is going to be, by WWE standards, going to be propelled as one of the greatest of all time. I think they want him to be the greatest of all time as their manufacturer champion, but he's been fantastic. I mean, let's just get it. He's a draw. He is by far the biggest star in pro wrestling. There's no question about that. He's getting as far as respect from even John Cena, who's calling him now the GOAT, which right now I think he is right now the best at the moment. But going on to the bloodline for sure. He has anchored that storyline with, as far as the bloodline, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, even at one point Sami Zayn. The bloodline was for sure the most interesting storyline going into this past year, even last year. But prior to, as far as going into Night of Champions, there was, as far as some cracks in the bloodline showing after the Usos had lost at WrestleMania 39. Going into it, as far as Roman being the Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion, he essentially, as far as was not happy with the Usos when they lost the match at WrestleMania 39. I mean, rightfully so. We all kind of thought that the Usos were going to drop the titles. Roman not being happy, essentially, as far as pretty much undermining the Usos in a way. He pretty much said the Bloodline would be retrieving the tag team, the Undisputed Tag Team Champions. The Usos kind of took it as like, oh, Roman's going to let us get another chance. No, instead, Roman essentially said that he and Solo would actually try to get the titles back. That kind of undermined the Usos. Jimmy was not happy with Roman essentially kind of undermining them as far as them trying to get the tag team championship belts back without the Usos doing it. The idea of a Roman 4 belts was kind of ridiculous, but you never knew with Vince and WWE. I just couldn't put it past them. Like, it would not surprise me if that happened. That being said, moving on to the main event, Night of Champions in Jeddah. I will start off as far as with Sami. The guy was absolutely over with that crowd. I mean, the man, as far as did the announcement in Arabic, the fans were 100% behind him. There was a lot of heat going into the match. But Sami was absolutely over in Saudi. The one thing as far as I do want to point out is that the Sami is from Syria. There were issues as far as, or internal issues with Saudi Arabia and Syria. But now there's currently a truce which allowed Sami to participate in Night of Champions in Jeddah. Which I was glad because, I mean, I'm so glad that he actually made the trip, because this main event match was fantastic. Getting into it as far as real quick, me and D originally picked Sami and Kevin Owens to win. We get into the match. I mean, great match as far as what's going on. The crowd was heavily behind Sami and KO. We do have as far as an Usos run-in, back and forth as far as what happened. Once the referee was as far as taken out, the Usos did make their run-in. They pretty much attacked Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was up in the ring. The Usos make the run-in, attempt to super kick Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn actually ducks, as you can see on the bottom left-hand corner. They actually accidentally super kick Solo Sikoa instead. The thing here, though, Roman only saw the Usos kicking Solo. Roman pretty much says that the Usos are done and no longer part of the bloodline. Jimmy actually turns on Roman. And Jay argues with Jimmy as far as on the turn, as far as what took place. There was so much going on here. I mean, this is such a great storyline as far as what was being told. How prior to what was going on, Jay Uso was the one in question. Jay being the one with the shorter hair on the left, and Jimmy being the one as far as still sticking with the bloodline. However, the disrespect that Roman was giving to Jimmy, Jimmy, you could tell, was ready to snap on Roman, and boy did he ever. Jimmy, as far as pretty much tells Jay, I'm gonna do something that you should have done from the beginning. I'm doing this for both of us. Jimmy super kicks Roman. Roman eats the super kick. Jay in disbelief in the background. I mean, there was just so much going on in the storyline. Like, even when Jimmy had done the super kick on Roman, he had this euphoric look on his face, like he was just so satisfied with what he did. He was pretty pleased with himself, you could tell. But this is storyline angle. If you've not seen this, you got to watch this live. I can't show this because of WWE copyright. I would have showed it if I could, but you have to watch it. If you're not caught up with WWE and want to get back in, this Bloodline storyline for sure is a reason to get back in. Once Jimmy is done as far as Super King Roman, Jimmy essentially tells Jay, we need to go. It's time to go. Solo wakes up. Solo gets as far as a stunner from Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn does the Helluva kick in the corner. There was a bit of a virtual pin. In other words, virtual count. Normally, a virtual count means that the crowd will count with no referee. The crowd counted up to 5 or 6, I believe. And then the referee showed up quickly. And normally, whenever there's a virtual count or a virtual pin and the referee comes in and counts, normally that person kicks out. The ref goes in, makes the count. 1, 2, 3. Sammy pins Solo. Solo takes the pin. KO and Sammy retain. Fantastic. What a storyline. Great as far as storyline. Great segment. Overall, the main event was fantastic. The crowd definitely helped. Roman, pretty much, you can tell he's kind of mulling over what just kind of transpired as far as the Usos turn on him. The failed attempt to try to get as far as the Universal Tag Team Championships as well. Sammy, of course, is defiant in the win. Pretty much trolling Roman, telling Roman the bloodline is done. But what a storyline. I mean, it's for sure one of the best angles in wrestling in such a long time. And for sure the best WWE has had in years. But this is still continuing. The bloodline storyline is not over yet. I don't know when exactly it's going to end. It could possibly end at SummerSlam. But overall, great card. You could make an argument that it was probably the best card of the weekend. Was it better than Double or Nothing? I'll answer that question in the next video. But Double or Nothing for sure is for a longer topic. Double or Nothing was good too. But I guess I'll give a quick spoiler. I think Night of Champions might have been better. There was only maybe one weak match in this card, and that was the Rhea Ripley and Natalya match. Everything else was great. It was a great crowd, but the crowd definitely helped them for sure. Overall, I thought it was a great card. If you have not seen it, definitely watch it. It is a good time to start watching wrestling again, for sure. But that will do it for the recap for Night of Champions. I will be back again with the Double or Nothing recap from last weekend. If you have not done so, as far as please like and subscribe to the video. It does help us as far as continue creating more content. If you have any questions or you have as far as agree or disagreements or anything you liked or don't like, please comment as far as as far as comments. Let us know what you think. If you have any ideas, suggestions, we'll definitely read the comments. But that is it. I'll be back with the next video. See you next time.